Hello everyone, in today's video I'm going to show you how to use the function and the function or. These two functions allows you to add some criteria and run some tests into your dataset. Both functions returns true and false as outcome, and in order to use them you need to add one or more criteria, one or more logical tests within the formula. The difference between them is that in order to the end functions return true value, all the conditions must be true. Now, the OR function, in order to return true, at least one condition needs to be true. To exemplify this, I'll give you two examples. This first one is more broad, but it is easier to understand the concept of the formulas. And after that, I will show you a second example, a more practical example with a realistic application with the formulas for the formulas. So let's say we have two conditions on column A and column B. And our condition is that the number needs to be higher than 5 in order to be true. And we're analyzing it using the AND and the OR function. So let's see what happens. So equal sign AND. So our first criteria will be column A being higher than 5, comma, to move to the second argument. And second argument will be column B being higher than 5. And I will do the same for the OR function. So first argument, column A higher than 5, and second column being higher than 5. Hit enter. I will copy and paste the formula, and let's see what happens. So the first row returns false and false for both formulas because neither of the numbers are higher than 5, is higher than 5. Whereas the second row returns true for OR and false for AND because one of them is higher than 5. The column B, we have 6 here, the number 6. And remember that for the OR formula, if at least one argument is satisfied, if at least one argument is true, the formula will return true as value. That's why on the last row, we have it true and true. Now let's move to the second example. Let's say we have a class with 4 students and we want to calculate the average grade for them. But if you apply the average formula, you notice that Excel will calculate the average grade even for the students that don't have all the grades. And we don't want that because we can't know the average final grade if you don't know all the scores. So in order to do that, we are going to use the AND formula. First, I will show you what happens with the AND part, and then I'll put the AND formula within our formula, our final formula. So let's say, and we are analyzing the cells that are not empty. So our condition here is that the grade must be different than empty. These two symbols here means different in Excel, and these other two here means empty. So the first criteria will be different than empty, and the second criteria will be biology, which is the second course, different than empty. And same thing for chemistry, empty, physics, different than empty, and the history, different than empty. If we copy and paste for the rest of the rows, copy and paste for the rest of the row, you see that for those students that have some grades missing, the formula returns false because that means that they don't have all the grades here. So how to add that into our grade formula? For that, we'll use the if and the average function. I'll copy this part so we don't need to type it again. And let's put, and I have videos showing you how to use the if function and the average function in my channel. So if this logical test is true, what happens? So if this logical test is true, that means that the student has all the grades. Then we wanted the Excel to calculate the average for the student, the average grade. But if it's false, that means that there are grades missing. So why not just leave it blank? So parentheses, and I'll copy and paste the formula. I'll just delete this, and as you notice, now the Excel is calculating the grade just for the student that has all the grades. Now let's say that we have our the grades, and now we want to analyze if the student passed or failed the program according to his or her grade, but also the attendance. And our condition will be grades higher than 60, the student passed the program, and also the student needs to have an attendance higher than 90%. To do that, we are going to use the OR formula, because if the student has attendance lower than 90 but higher grades, he or she will fail either way. So first, again, I'll show you what happens with the OR part, and then I'll put that within our formula. So OR. So if this grade is lower than 60, it's one condition to the student fail, or if the attendance is lower than 90%. So if one of these conditions is satisfied, that means that the student will have failed. So copy and paste formula. So it's true and true for the students C and D. And if you notice, both students have grades lower than 60, and one of them has attendance lower than 90. If we change the grades even for the students, even though the grade is higher than 60, the attendance is still lower than 90. So that's why the student is still failed the program. Now we will add that into our formula. And again, I'll copy and paste the formula, the OR part, so we don't need to put it again. So if this condition here is true, what happened? That means that the student failed the program. So we wanted the Excel type it failed. But now if this condition is false, that means the student passed. And we want the Excel type those outcomes. Hit enter. I'll copy and paste the formula, and we can delete that. And there we go. Here we have our final output. The students A and B passed the program, and the students C and D failed the program. So this was our today's video. I hope you like it. Please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, send it to a friend. This really helped me to keep my channel on. If you have any suggestion or any idea, something that you want me to cover in my channel, just put in the comments and I will make a video of it. Thank you very much, and I will see you in the next video.